Hey, 7th grade. I hope you had a nice 3-day weekend. Today we're moving on in Chapter 2, Simplifying Expressions. Okay, and it's on page 108 and 109. If your book's open, you'll see there's a couple terms we need to go over, some new vocab. I took it straight from the book. Like terms is our first one. Like terms are terms that have the same variable factors. Examples of this is like 13x and 2x, okay? And the coefficient is the number part. It's a numerical factor. So if we looked at 13x and 2x, the 13 and the 2 are called coefficients, okay? So a quick recap. Here are examples of some like terms. These are the two from the vocab, 13x and 2x, 5a and 4a, and then r and 10r. Not like terms, these are examples of things that are not alike. 4a and 5b, 3 and 2t, 4c and 5. These cannot be combined, okay? These cannot be combined. These you can. If I decide to add or subtract some of these, 13x plus 2x is 15x. Like terms can be combined. 5a minus 4a is a, 1a, okay? It's just 1a. Just like down here, r plus 10r's, this means I have one of them. So an r plus 10 more r's means I have 11 of whatever r represents, okay? So these can combine. Okay? All right, let's take a look at some examples. In this first one, we're solving by combining like terms. So I see that I have, I'm going to circle it, a 2x. This does not have this 8. It does not have the x. It doesn't have the same factor, so I'm going to pass it. Next up is 4. It also has an x, so I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to include the sign. So these are the only x's. They're the only like terms. They're the only ones that are the same. So I'm going to do 2x plus 4x, and then 8 minus 5, so it's a positive 8 minus 5. Those are just normal numbers, so I'm going to group them by each other. And now I can combine. So 2x plus 4x is 6x, and then 8 minus 5 is a positive 3. So my final answer, simplifying, it means to solve. Okay, so you're going to be solving these as far down as you can. Once we get here, there's nothing more we can do. It's not set up, you know, like in an equation, you have like an equal sign, so you can move stuff around and divide by 6 to solve lastly. This doesn't have an equal sign, so there's nothing more we can do. We just combine the like terms. Another type of problem you'll have is with distributive property, right? It's parentheses. You're going to be distributing an outside number to the things inside and then combining anything that is alike. So here, 6 is our outside number, so that's what we're going to distribute to the inside of the parentheses. 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times 3 is 18. Then we're going to bring down the minus 4. In this case, if I'm going to circle again, circle the ones that have a variable. X is the only one, okay? And the other two are just numbers, so those can be combined. So 12x is going to be part of my answer because there's nothing I can do with it other than bring it down. And then I have 18 minus 4, and that is a positive 14. Again, there's no equal to, there's nothing else I can do. I have simplified it as far as I can. Okay, the last type of problems. So one type of problem is going to be, you're going to be combining like terms. Another type is going to have parentheses that you're going to have to distribute. And then lastly, you're going to be factoring expressions. So for these last two, these are set up more like the answer from the previous problem, right? So we got an answer of 12x plus 14. That looks more like this, okay? So we're going to go backwards and try to figure out the problem, okay? We're going to factor, all right? And to do that, we need to find what they have in common, okay? So we're going to take this first one, example 3. And what do the 9 and the 15 have in common? They have a 3. So if I take out a 3, if I divide them by 3 in parentheses, what I have left from this whole first factor, 9x, would be 3x, right? Because 3 times 3x is 9x. And then if I divide this by 3, I get plus 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay? So you need to look, I don't know if you even remember, but that was called the GCF. Look for the GCF, the factor, the greatest common. Is that coming back to you guys from last year? Factor. And then you divide it, right? So this is going to be your step 1. Divide both terms by the common factor. Step 3. The divisor goes outside the parentheses. The rest goes in. The parentheses. Okay? So once you have the biggest factor on the outside and there's nothing left in common on the inside, you're finished with these problems. And these look more like the starting problems in distributive property. Okay? I know these ones are kind of weird, so we're going to do one more like it. Okay? And I'm going to try and keep the steps on there. Okay. So in this problem, we have 8c minus 40. So we're going to look for a common factor, the greatest common factor in 8 and 20. So there's 2, they're both even. And 4 also goes into 8, and 4 goes into 20. So that's what I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull out a 4. Okay, and when I divide it by 4, what's left on the inside is 2. 4 times 2 gives me 8, c. So I need that c, minus. And then if I divide negative 20 by 4, I get negative 5. Right? 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. And now there's nothing in common here, so I'm finished with the problem. Okay, so if you have any questions, go back over these. Maybe look in your book. All of these examples came from page 108 and 109. For homework tonight, you're going to be on page 110. I do have office hours today, so if you want to jump on at 2:15, I can answer any questions that you have. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Let's do the odds from 11 to 27. Okay? Let me know if you get stuck.